So today is October 10th, which is also day 10 of the last 90-day challenge that I'm currently participating in. This is a challenge where you essentially are trying to live the last 3 months of the year as intentionally as you would live the first month of a new year. And I thought it's such a brilliant idea by Rachel and Dave Hollis, and if you want more information, please definitely go check them out, Google them. But it's the first year that I'm doing it, and I've actually been doing pretty well so far. And for those of you who don't know what it is, really quickly, there's 5 habits that kind of have to do with your wellness in the most holistic sense of the word. There's 5 habits that you attempt to implement as consistently as possible, aka every day for the last 90 days. And those 5 habits are waking up 1 hour earlier than you normally would and using that time for yourself, drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water, exercising 30 minutes a day, giving up 1 category of food you should not be eating or you know you shouldn't be eating, and writing a list of 10 items of gratitude every single day, essentially. And so again, you can definitely just Google and look this up. Also watch my previous upload, which was the first check-in I did for this challenge a few days ago, if you want more information. But yeah, definitely look it up online, and please don't hesitate. It's only 10 days in. It's not too late to join, because I see a lot of people in the Facebook groups and online asking that. But what I wanted to talk about today is something that Rachel and Dave Hollis brought up in one of their Instagram lives recently, and it is the importance of setting goals that you actually think you can attain. And because a lot of times you think, well, if I'm gonna set a goal, I might as well shoot for the stars and aim really big. And to some degree, that's a good thing, because we all evolve and grow as people in the pursuit of lofty goals. So it is good to have a little bit of a reach for a goal that you're going to set for yourself. Having said that, it's so important to not set yourself up to lose, because somebody on this Instagram live essentially wrote in and said, for the one food group you know you shouldn't be eating, they basically said, I am struggling because I gave up gluten and dairy. And Rachel, being as hilarious as she is, was like, that sounds really hard. Like, what on earth would you be eating if you can't eat either gluten or dairy, just cold turkey for the last 3 months? That challenge, even giving up one of those things, would be so big of a change. Trying to give up both at once is pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to slip up and fail and then get discouraged and not try again. And so I was thinking about this a lot, and it really resonated with me, because I actually have been doing really, really well with this challenge so far. Obviously, I'm only 10 days in at this point. We've got a long way to go until December 31st. But I said this in my previous upload, I actually have been really good with the exercising, the water, the food category, and the gratitude. I've done it all 10 days so far. And I had a little stumble in the beginning with waking up 1 hour earlier, but I am now a solid week, like 7 consecutive days into that habit as well. And while I'm proud of myself, I wanted to make this video and just explain that a big part of that success, yes, it is discipline, and it is focus, and it is willpower, and it is all those things we hear about all the time. But this idea of making the goal simple enough that it's actually something I could potentially achieve has been monumental for multiple of these changes. And I just wanted to explain what I mean. I said this in my previous upload, but first and foremost with exercise, when I first imagined exercise, when they said exercise 30 minutes a day, I honestly thought that was insane and it was unrealistic, because what I was picturing was 45 minutes with my yoga mat and my dumbbells and my kettlebell and doing multiple at-home workouts back to back to back to get that 30 minutes in. And I know myself, I've worked out for years, and it's like, I need rest days, I need days off. Like, it just didn't seem realistic to me. And then very quickly into week 1, I realized I've already been thinking about walking more as just really good exercise, because I've very recently realized, as much as I live in a big city and I walk everywhere, 10,000 steps, which everybody talks about, is actually much harder to hit than I originally thought. I did it one Saturday recently. I was just like, let's see how long I have to walk before I hit 10,000 steps. It took a lot longer than I was expecting. Actually, it was like around an hour and a half. So, and it was an amazing workout. Like by the end of it, I was sweating. My heart rate was definitely up. I could feel the muscles in my legs. Like, so it definitely was a workout. Maybe not as intense as the gym, the elliptical, dumbbells, whatever, but it's definitely still a workout. And that's when I started thinking, you know what? Like, why does it have to be all or nothing? Movement is movement is movement. Yes, not every movement is created equal, but it still qualifies. And I also, long story short, have been kind of like easing up on my actual workouts anyway before this challenge started, just because I'm doing a nutrition program, and the working out and the water retention that naturally happens from working out and a lot of strength training is really impeding my weight loss efforts with that nutrition program. So I was already thinking, you know what, I probably just want to put the working out aside at least for a month and see what my body can do in and of itself when I just fix what I'm eating. So essentially, I just decided pretty much day 3 or 4 when I realized this, I was like, movement also includes walking. The only caveat is I have to be doing it intentionally. It can't just be that I'm meeting a friend and I totally forgot about this challenge and then later I'm like, oh, whatever, I basically walked 30 minutes. No, it has to be intentional. So I have to be like, I'm walking to work today, so that's 20 minutes towards my daily goal. And then I'm walking back, that's another 20 minutes. I've done 40 minutes, that is my walking. Like, I have to consciously do it. It can't be something I do in hindsight. So, but that is one example of how exercising, I made it easier to achieve as opposed to setting myself up to fail, which I almost did when I defined exercise as I have to do 2 consecutive at-home workouts on my yoga mat with dumbbells every single day for 90 days. Something else is the one food group. Now, it is so amazing. I think Dave Hollis is giving up carbs, Rachel's giving up all dairy, there's people that are giving up gluten, and I think that's all really, really great. Having said that, again, I am not in a place with this nutrition program that I'm doing that I want to or am capable of giving up an entire food group per se. But what I chose to do is basically look at that challenge a little bit differently. There are things that I should not be eating, but they're not necessarily food groups. So for me, it was very obvious right off the bat, and if you watch my last upload, you know this, I wanted to give up snacking after dinner. Like, that was making a huge difference on the scale when I weigh myself in the morning. It was getting in the way of my efforts. It's something I just know I shouldn't be doing because honestly, let's just be real, people. When you want a snack after dinner, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely not reaching for the baby carrots or the kale or the bell peppers. I'm reaching for the ice cream and for the candy and for the chocolate. So I almost immediately knew that my food group that I was gonna give up was gonna be the snacks after dinner, with the exception of tea, because tea is essentially water. And like I said in my last video, I'm still deciding about if I need a small glass of milk, maybe I'll just let myself have that. If it's been a super early dinner and then I needed to stay up really late at night for whatever reason, I can maybe have a glass of milk. I'm still hashing that out. I haven't needed milk so far. So, but that is yet another example, because I will tell you right now, I experienced a little bit of that perfectionist's guilt around my interpretation of this challenge. I experienced a little bit of the voice in my head, that critic, the inner bully, basically saying, that's not real, that's not what they meant when they created the challenge, that's not what, you're doing this wrong. I heard every criticism you can imagine. And you know what? I'm so glad I didn't listen, because I am laser focused and committed. This is absolutely a stretch. I was snacking after dinner probably 5 out of 7 days a week before. So this is a stretch for me. I'm not gonna lie and say that it's been super easy. It's been hard. Like, there's been, out of 10 days, there's been at least 4 that I am hungry as I'm falling asleep. Like, I can hear my stomach starting to growl, but I choose instead to just fall asleep, go to bed a little earlier, as opposed to stay up late and potentially succumb to whatever's in the cabinet. So it is still a stretch, but it is 100% doable for me. It's a challenge in the truest sense of the word. And I feel so fired up about it because I'm excited. Like, Like, the whole point of this is to strive towards the best version of yourself, to strive to be more every single day, to be intentional, and I feel intentional doing this. And the very last thing is the gratitude. I was making my own life harder. I was thinking to myself, you know what, and this is gonna sound so silly, you guys, but it makes a difference when you need to do something every single day. For me, in my head, I was thinking, okay, I have to list out 10 items of gratitude every day. I'm gonna take out my laptop, I'm gonna start a nice Word document, I'm gonna type it out, 10 things every night, and that's just gonna be wonderful. Or even better, there was a point that I was like, I'm gonna buy a beautiful notebook and just put it all in there with my favorite pen every night. Here's the thing, life happened. And this is the subject of one of their Instagram lives recently as well. Life is not gonna show up conveniently for you. You still have to make it work. So for me, you know, I went to my parents' house for, you know, this past weekend where I filmed my first upload of the challenge. I was at my parents' house, and long story short, but I drag a lot of stuff home with me. I'm like a hopeless pack rat when it comes to packing and going places, and the laptop is just too much extra weight. I don't take my laptop when I go home for the weekend. It's usually about a day and a half that I'm home. So immediately, like first 5 days of the challenge, I was like, uh-oh, roadblock. And so what I did was a placeholder list on my phone, and I just typed it out on my phone. Fast forward, my phone has become my go-to to list out the gratitude. That's where I do my gratitude every day. And even better, I have started listing out items of gratitude throughout the day. Because I thought to myself, I'm like, realistically, why does it have to be at night? If it's 10 items of gratitude of things that happened that day, and we're training our brains to look for things to be grateful for, what's stopping me from just starting to list things out as they happen? You know, we take a lot more than 10 seconds to check Instagram, to respond to an email, to respond to a text. All of us are always in our phones all the time. So why not allocate 20 of those seconds to going into the Notes app and putting down 1 or 2 extra things of gratitude as I feel grateful for them? Like, who said I can't do it that way? You know? And guess what? I haven't missed a day. And if I had stuck to my original plan of it has to be in this notebook, it has to be on my laptop, it has to be all done, 10 items at night before I go to bed. Guess what? I had a friend in town visiting last night, and we were out, we had dinner, we chatted and relaxed, and I was so tired by the end of the night, there is no way I would have done a list of 10 things at that point. I just wanted to fall asleep. But I didn't lose my habit because I had been listing out the 10 things all day. I think I had 1 spot left on my list. By the time everything was said and done, I took 20 seconds, wrote down 1 more thing, and I was done for the day. So this video is actually a little bit longer than I was intending to go on this, but I'm really glad that I was able to give 3 examples. You guys, out of my 5 to Thrive habits, 3 of them I have effectively hacked to make it work for me in my life, and I'm achieving success. Like, I've been consecutive with my progress, and we'll see what happens as the challenge unfolds. And I'm so excited to keep doing these updates because I fully expect that I'm not gonna continue perfectly for the rest of the 90 days, but I'm excited to have a strong start. But more importantly, I wanted to share this in case anyone really needed to hear it and maybe can start making tweaks for themselves to see better progress, because when you make progress and you stay consistent, you generate momentum. And that momentum, I have found for me, is just so powerful in sustaining the progress, especially when things get hard. So that's what I wanted to share today. If you watched up until now, thank you so much for watching and spending a few minutes with me. If you want to keep updated on my results throughout this challenge and my check-ins, please make sure to subscribe. Please don't hesitate to leave me a comment because I will definitely respond. I would love to be accountability partners with anybody, or just chat with you if any of this vibes with you at all. And yeah, I hope you have a really great day, and I'll talk to you soon.